are we right now, sir? Larry Wilmore, what phase in crazy are
We
we as America?
we are we are in the Dali-esque surreal phase right now. We're in complete surrealism. We have this reactionary racist president throwing like the troops under the bus in an interview, when he talked about retweeting the whole thing about SEAL Team 6 with a black woman in silhouette co-signing him. I mean, what is going on? It was so bizarre last night. I don't know if you saw that, but there was like
Yeah, that woman is a plant. They have pictures of her
exactly.
with. So she was somebody. She had on the red face mask, I think, and she was sitting
Yeah.
right behind him. She was
Yeah, she's
planted
nodding.
there. She has been
Yeah,
seen in other pictures in the
exactly.
past. Yeah. So
So that's the world we're in. We're in the surreal world where that's what we have a week going into the election.
you just did a piece where you said, "What the f undecided," and I've been saying this too on these airwaves that
Hmm.
if you are undecided at this
Absolutely.
point, something's mentally wrong with you or you're a liar.
Right. You are undecided whether or not you're going to tell us the truth. That's what they're actually undecided about. Because we know that's what happened in the last election. They just didn't want to tell people they were actually voting for Trump. That's that's where undecideds made the difference. How honest they were going to be about voting for this guy. I don't think that big number is the number that we need to be concerned about. Who's going to vote for whom? I think the big number is who's actually going to get out to vote. Because this is the year of the pandemic, and pandemic is no joke.
No,
And
no, no,
who's
no.
going to
The
go?
president said it's easy. It's no problem. He beat it. It's
Yes,
no problem.
exactly.
It's
Don't be
he's got a
afraid.
cure. Yeah, there's nothing to worry about. I'm 74 and have underlying conditions, and look, I beat it. It's no problem. He just did
And he's a
a press
perfect,
conference. Go
yes,
ahead.
he's a perfect physical specimen. He's a stable genius, so of course he's going to recover. That all makes sense. But I mean, who's going to stay out in lines for 5 hours? With people coughing on them, trying
Black
to vote.
people.
I mean,
Black people. We are there are record numbers voting primarily because there's a lot of early voting and of course vote by mail and things. So we are seeing
right.
record number early voting as well, and black people willing to stand in line for 10, 12 hours. And I'm seeing it. I'm hearing them call up on this
Hmm.
show. So I'm
Right.
grateful for that. But you're right. We're in the midst of a pandemic, and I forgot to ask you, how are you COVIDing, sir? How are you doing?
I think I'm coping okay. I mean, it's scary. My son he's had asthma growing up and those issues. He lives with me. He's in his young 20s right now. I mean, I think, of course, any black family in America, our relationship to health compared to everybody else is just different. It used to be that high blood pressure, they call it the silent killer, but there's so many things that are silently killing black people these days, that you have to be on the guard, especially during these COVID times. And that's what I mean by it being no joke, because you could seemingly be in good health and everything by any other means. But the way it attacks people of color, and the Latino community has gotten it bad too. A friend of mine, her husband died, and no one would have thought there was anything wrong with him. And COVID just attacked him in a way that it certainly isn't going after a lot of people. So it's just scary. That's my biggest concern is in a pandemic, what are people willing to do? A lot of the blacks going out to vote right now, hopefully it'll make a difference because remember, it's the Electoral College that's going to make the difference. And a lot of these populous states, those numbers might not make the difference. You're hoping that it does. Like I hope the black people in those states where it makes a difference can hopefully make a difference. But also we need all different kinds of people coming out and making that difference because that's what screwed us the last time in the elections. Hillary Clinton getting 3 million more votes than Donald Trump. That is a lot of votes. That's not like 500,000. Like the Gore and the Gore Bush election was very close. I think it was 500,000 votes, which in a national election is pretty close. But 3 million votes is a victory. I don't care how you look at it. So the fact that it was, I think the margin may have been like 77,000 votes between 3 or 4 states,
Yeah.
you guys. That's what we're talking about between one type of administration and a drastically different one. And let me just say this, and I know this is real wonky, it's not funny, I apologize for that, but I'm very passionate about this part of it, is that the reason why it's so significant, if people think it doesn't make a difference who's in power, let me tell you why it makes the biggest difference. Obama was blocked by Mitch McConnell, not just from his Supreme Court pick, Merrick Garland, but also from numerous seats on the appellate courts, hundreds
Including
of
the
seats we're
seat that
talking about.
Amy Coney Barrett sat
Correct.
in. That was blocked. The
Correct.
black woman was supposed to be seated in that
She
position.
is in a black seat, correct. you know, and that makes generational differences in policies and how things are decided, laws getting overturned, affecting people's lives, So that's why these things are so important on so many different levels. All right, I'm off my soapbox to that.
So quick question to that point. What do you think about this whole Ice Cube gate and the Ice Cube fiasco? Because I really, my biggest problem is that they didn't go to MC Ren and get his opinion. I mean, you just going to get one of the niggas with attitudes and not the other one?
It's called niggas with attitude, not nigga with attitude. I think people miss the S on the end of that. I agree with you, Lamont. I was making fun of it at my show that drops tonight. It's like, what did you think? Like, they can call something platinum and niggas are just going to like it because of the name. It's like, oh, thanks for this platinum. So this shows some good platinum, It's like, I mean, it's so ridiculous, the superficiality with these types of things are taken. And, like, Ice Cube is some policy person that we're supposed to be following. That's going to be the redemption of black people, black communities. I applaud him for being out there and wanting to do something and being passionate about it, but you can't help but feel like, how can you not know that you're not a pawn when it's a week before the election and people are trying to split votes? Like, that's the cynicism that I can't believe he's not seeing that. It's like, sorry, at this point in the game, you can't be making this type of statement. This is something that you did a year ago or 2 years ago when you're really trying to get something done with the administration. Not get a promise, get some action done.
Well, we're having this conversation, and it's our fault because we put people on pedestals who didn't belong there. We put people in positions because they had a talent or something that we liked, and that's our fault. We deified folk who may be marginally intelligent, definitely not well read, and usually the smartest person in their room, but they're not in every room. And that you could have the arrogance to think that you can negotiate on behalf of all black people with your limitations speaks volumes about where we are as a community. So that's our fault too. We allowed for Donald Trump to be deified in rap music. We allowed the personification of this demon, right? And we celebrated when Nelly said, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, let me in now. We were dancing right along with that while he was demonizing 5 little young boys in New York City. They still put him on a pedestal. So it made it palatable for him. Oh, we see him on The Apprentice. It's palatable. And I came to the conclusion today when I was watching clips and outtakes with him sitting across from Savannah Guthrie saying some of the most ridiculous things. And she said, you're the president. You're not our crazy uncle, retweeting. Right. And I said, you know what? Steve Bannon said that his goal was to dismantle our government. Yeah. And what better way to do that than to put a carnival barker idiot in office? Who, by the way, if you think that Barack Obama was the greatest president of all time, and we're not going to litigate that here, but if you thought he was really competent and smart and great, law review head and all of this other stuff, went through the paces, Senate, did the thing, did everything right. Now this undermines the office. And now you're saying that N-word that was in there, that office wasn't all of that because this blowhard got to be president. So presidency, the whole presidency is trash. And so Obama's not that great.
And the right is in this position that doesn't make sense. They want to be in power of something they want to dismantle at the same time. That doesn't make sense because the dismantling of government is dismantling people's lives. You can't have contempt for a system that is there to help protect people and help to uplift people. It shouldn't be the answer to everything. I agree in public and private partnerships. Those things are smart. We've always had those types of systems. But the cynicism about government and the wanting to dismantle it and knowing that the people that helps the most are the vulnerable people of color, people out there, that don't have safety nets and things like that. Just the whole cynicism towards Obamacare and making it a political issue and not about people's lives. And now we see during COVID how important some of those protections are, which
but they don't care.
Yeah,
they don't care, Larry Wilmore. They don't care. Lamont. They don't care. They don't care about those people. They're more Marie Antoinette than anything. They do not care. And she didn't say let them eat cake, but they don't care about anything but maintaining the power, which is in the 1%. Mitch McConnell knew exactly. Cobbler, yes. Let them eat cobbler. I think it wasn't peach cobbler though, because I don't think they had very good fruit. I don't think they had very good fruit in France back then. But yeah. So Larry Wilmore, where do we go from here? Because I think Joe Biden's going to win in a landslide, and I think there's going to be anarchy. I think there's going to be a complete and total uprising that we haven't seen in our generation, in our lifetime.
Well, whoever is president, and if it's Joe Biden, I don't know what kind of language I can use in the show.
You can lose. This is Sirius XM. You know, you use the N word and the national television, and just now you just did it, both of you.
Let me tell you,
listener
Biden
discretion is advised.
Wait, hold on. There you go.
Yes. Biden is his first year. He's going to be fucked, you guys, because first of all, COVID is going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
The economy is going to be shattered, and it's not just the economy; it's the whole class system. I was talking about that recently. Social mobility is such in a horrible position right now, but there's so many things being destroyed because they're not being attended to, you know. And here's the other thing: if people, like when you look at the Black Lives Matter movement, a lot of this, they kind of have that easy foe at the head of government, you know, obvious foe there. You could point your fingers there. Okay, so if Biden, as a supposed ally, is there, where do the fingers point? Is it just on the local level? Do they lose their voice? Does that movement get weakened now? You know, it's not always easy having supposed allies in government. If you look at the 60s, Lyndon Johnson passed some of the most progressive legislation ever. The Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act, these types of things were reviled by the left because it was an anti-war movement. And what's that do? Open the door to Richard Nixon becoming president. I mean, that's what I mean. There was that energy, all this energy from the summer of George Floyd might be forgotten by next summer. That's one of the things to be on the lookout for with getting what we think is going to be the best thing, you know. So even a victory is fraught with possible defeat. So people have to be on the guard all the time and always looking out for ways to get the message across and the message get through. Yes, sir, Mr. Lamont.
Victories are relative, especially now.
Right.
You know, you get that talking point that two left wing, right wing, two wings of the same bird. And, you know, I feel like we're in a vulnerable state because of what has happened in the last 4 years. So whoever gets in, whether he stays or whether he goes, I feel like it's a prime opportunity for you know, bad actors, if you will, around the world to take a shot. You know,
right.
Shut down our internet or power grids or all the stuff you see in the movies. I think we primed for that, you know, before the end of the year. That's just
thanks for giving China ideas, Lamont. I appreciate that.
Oh,
you know.
oh, as if China and Russia.
China.
I mean, China.